Okay, cool. Hey folks, Jimmy from Superpath here today with Drea Armstrong. She's the head of marketing at Panther. Drea, how are you?
Doing well, thank you.
So we're going to be talking today about content role you're hiring for. So you're bringing on a director of content at Panther. We'll talk specifically about that role in a minute, but first, could you just kind of like, the 30,000 foot view of Panther, like kind of tell us a little bit about the company, the mission, and kind of like the stage that the company is currently at as well.
You bet. So Panther is an employer of record software that exists to eliminate the administrative complexity of bringing people together, talented people together, to work together anywhere in the world, regardless of their location. We're really trying to create that bridge to a higher quality of life for everyone on the planet. So these opportunities that traditionally had to exist only within 20 miles of your home. Now people have this opportunity to work for companies all over the world. And so that's what we're really, really excited about at Panther. We've been in business just over a year. Product launched just about 6 months ago. So we're really early in the marketing stage, and we're looking really for somebody to come and help us tell this story in a way that really shines a light on how big and important it is.
Yeah. The mission is really inspiring. Like we get quite a few roles posted on this job board that are kind of like remote-ish. Like it's remote, but there's borders. Like, it has to
Yeah.
be US only, or it's like US and Canada or something like that. There's just this massive opportunity though, it seems, to be able to hire people all over the place. And you guys just sort of sort out the kind of confusing or maybe overwhelming details of like how that actually works, which is pretty
Right.
amazing.
Yeah.
Um,
One of the really staggering statistics that we talk about a lot is only 5% of the world's population lives in the US. And so if you're drawing a border around your talent pool to 5%, that's really a restriction that we don't believe in. And so right now, I believe less than a third of our team is actually located in the United States. We are truly all over the place right now. Uh, and so the marketing team that exists today is based in London, Ghana. We've got one kind of digital nomad who's in Buenos Aires today.
cool.
Not sure where he's going next. So yeah, it is. We're truly walking the walk here.
Yeah, that's really cool. I think it's interesting that I feel like 2 years ago, remote work was like really cool. If you could work remotely, like that was awesome. And then remote work became like sort of this burden on people because it was forced on them. And I feel like now it's sort of trending back in the other direction, that it's trendy again, like in a fun way. You know what I mean? The
Yeah.
opportunity to have flexible schedules, to work asynchronously, but two, to work with people across the world. Like what an amazing opportunity to have coworkers in Buenos Aires or Ghana. Like that's
Yeah, absolutely.
not super
And I
common and
think
very cool.
very cool. And it's also, it's a requirement for the top talent nowadays where we're looking at the really cool opportunity, I think, at Panther right now is that we are riding a bit of a mandate wave, if you will. A mandate being, pushed by the talent, and the best talent is saying, I don't want to spend an hour in my car every day to get to an office where I sit on Zoom.
Yeah.
And that is, that's a trend that we're seeing. Reports are coming out daily with stats like 70% of candidates are saying that they'll turn down a really great job offer if they're required to come into the office every day. So on top of the fact that you're losing out on great people, from other areas of the world, you're also losing out on great people who just say, I'm done sitting in a cubicle in an office.
Yeah, totally. I think it's all, I feel like to be kind of early on the marketing team, especially on the content side of a company like Panther, is really cool because there's so many stories to tell. Like there's a powerful narrative kind of driving the whole thing, but then you're going to have, I would assume, kind of like infinite case studies on how this works and how awesome it
Yeah.
is.
And the biggest one being Panther itself. We are really trying to, we're really trying to live the values that we're preaching. So asynchronous work is a huge part. It's the backbone of our entire operation. And we, for someone like me, who's been in other more traditional settings, the US based only companies, that is an awesome skill that I'm getting to learn and put it into practice. And it's really an interesting way to kind of expand your skill set. within just like that office culture type way. So I'm
Yeah,
excited about it.
that's really cool. Let's talk a little bit about the role specifically. So it's the director of content marketing. This person will report directly to you. Is that right?
Yes, correct.
And
Yep.
can you talk about like what is this person's charter? Like what is it that you're hiring them to do primarily?
Yeah, so this director of content, the big idea is that we would want this person to be kind of the president of the voice of the brand.
Oh, I love that.
So
That's cool.
this person is like in charge of making sure that complex ideas get really simplified, because that's our ultimate goal. So if you're taking our overall purpose, which is to move like complexity from bringing talented people together, and you apply that into the content role, that's really as simple as it gets. It's like, we're looking for somebody who can take all of these different concerns of businesses and concerns of candidates and talk to them in a way that it, you know, simplifies all of this really complex stuff. We want somebody who can see the big picture, but feels really comfortable with executing, so that they can be an excellent mentor for the team that we want to build underneath them. We are looking for somebody who can look into the future of the market, who's not really obsessive about like what's happening today, but can see things, how they're progressing and how they're going to turn out like 5 years down the road, 10 years down the road. I mean, obviously there's no way to predict a world-changing event like COVID. None of us knew that we were all going to be shut into the house for a year and a half 2 years ago, but we all saw the transition to remote becoming a more and more prevalent thing in the market. So if we are able to harness that kind of visionary in this director of content role, like that would be a huge bonus.
That's awesome. Do you have a sense for who this person is, or maybe what they've been up to for the past couple of years that will have prepared them well for this?
Yeah, there's like a different kind of skill soup that I'm looking for. Somebody who knows their stuff inside and out when it comes to like SEO, like just the nuts and bolts of like how to write content for the website, like for web. And then somebody who's really good at identifying like high thought leadership trends, like what do we want to be talking about, what do we want to be really like amplifying out into the market, where do we want to be actual leaders. And then I think somebody who has had experience writing more complex B2B content, and somebody who's like got experience with really simplifying that. So someone who's either been writing for financial services companies or like legal stuff that they've really had to kind of like, okay, this is too messy. We don't, at Panther, we really try to avoid jargon. We're not here to try to impress anybody with our large vocabularies. We're just trying to portray a very simple view of how easy this can actually be. So someone who's writing and how they talk to audiences is just as simple as how you and I are talking right now.
Right. Do you anticipate that this person will do quite a bit of writing themselves, or do you have folks either in-house or externally in place to help with that part?
Yeah, this person would be more like the conductor of the orchestra of writers. So
That's
now,
awesome.
we're trying to pull together a whole bunch of really excellent writers. So they'd be kind of sitting in the middle of contract writers, a full-time writer today, which would ultimately like grow in the future. Content distribution team, public relations, social media, and kind of really like making sure that everybody's playing from the same sheet music.
Got it. I love it. I love it. Is there anything about the role specifically that I should have asked you that I didn't, like any kind of, things you want to highlight about this person's responsibilities, or maybe like the folks that they'll be working with on a day-to-day basis?
Yeah. So I think that it's really important to recognize that this person, like reporting into me, will be responsible for the voice and the brand. So like highlighting those content themes that we want to talk about on a regular basis, making sure that they're periodically touched on, making sure that they still apply to what it is that we're bringing to market. And then also having a really strong comfort level with displaying brand through graphic design, through all of the design elements, making sure that they feel good about how we're representing ourselves to the market. So this is a job for somebody who wants to leave their mark on a company. This is not a good spot for somebody who kind of wants to like tuck in, like just do their little to-dos for the day and like head out. Like this is a opportunity to like fully own a huge part of this business, both figuratively, like with the work, and like literally with the opportunity at equity for a very early stage company. So I think, you know, that's if you're a person who's looking for an opportunity to make your mark in a software company, like this is that role.
That's really cool. And also a perfect segue to the last thing I wanted to ask you about. So like before we started recording, you were saying part of the draw for you to Panther was that it's early stage and like you get the opportunity to, like you said, kind of get in early, make your mark, also grow with the company. It's kind of, I feel like career hack isn't like quite the right word, but like for folks looking for accelerated growth, that's the strategy, right? Because things are going to happen so much faster, like 10 times faster than they would at a larger company where you're sort of waiting in line for your turn. Could you speak a little bit to that, like kind of the draw for you personally? And then like, it sounds like companies still at that same stage where like this person will also have kind of that same opportunity.
Yeah, you bet. For me personally, I've been through, this is my fourth startup. And you know, the earlier opportunities that I had, I really had a chance to like see what happens when you're successful and how to make that successful. And truly, like selfishly, I wanted a chance to try it myself. I wanted to do it myself from the very early stages. So I wanted a company that I believed in their mission. So that like when things get difficult and we're really working through, like startup days are difficult. They take a lot of time. And, you know, I really wanted something that like I could go back every single day and say, yeah, but I'm doing something that matters. So from that perspective, for sure, obviously from an equity ownership perspective, a seed series is like the way to go. We're pre-series A, this is where we want to be. Team is so small, and the opportunity there for being able to absorb any work that you want to do, it's infinite. So if you see work that can be done, if you see opportunity that can be that the business can grow from, no one's going to tell you not to take that work. No one's going to tell you like, well, that's not your job, you're overstepping. That is the chance to get your hands in things that no one would ever let you do before. And so I think when we talk to people who are like held back, you know, who are looking at our company as a candidate, and one of my favorite things that I see is when they feel like in previous roles they've been held back by process, red tape, too many cooks in the kitchen, too many stakeholders, all of those things, like this is the perfect place for you, because it is truly an autonomous work environment that allows people to just say, I think this is a good idea, I think this is going to work, and all I need is permission to do it. Try it. I mean, we fail fast and we learn from things that we've tried, and sometimes they're hugely successful and sometimes they're not, but we figure it out, we move on. So I'd much rather have a risk taker who has big ideas that they've never been able to apply before, than somebody who's kind of like waiting around to see what they should do next.
That's so cool. I mean this genuinely. If I wasn't busy doing Superpath, I would apply myself. I think it's really cool. I think it's really cool. I'm really looking forward to getting this out to folks in our community. Obviously there'd be apply buttons up to the side and below this. If you do have questions, I would encourage folks, you can always shoot me a DM. You know, if you want me to look at writing samples or a resume, like I'm always happy to kind of give you a little pep talk before you apply or help you pick samples or that kind of thing. So just shoot me a DM in Slack. Dre, thank you so much for doing this. Such a benefit to our community to meet you, hear your voice, see your face, get a better idea of who Panther is and what this role is like. So can't thank you enough for taking the time to do this with us.
Thank you very much. I'm really looking forward to seeing the candidates that come in.
Yes, me too. Awesome. Thanks so much and take care.
Thank you.